Dealerships across the United States are facing a truck inventory crisis that they can't ignore. Brand new pickup truck inventory is piling up on their lots, and some have even been collecting dust for nearly a full year. So in today's video, I want to show you the 10 slowest selling trucks in the United States right now. And these are the ones where the inventory is just completely piling up. Now let's get right into it, starting with the number 10 slowest selling truck in the United States right now that has the most inventory, the Ford F-150. And as you can see, this dealership has an entire row going across here, another row going on this side, and over in that far corner of the lot over there, there's a crap ton more F-150s. The Ford F-150 has a 120 market day supply. That means if Ford shut down production today and tried to sell every F-150 that they had on the dealer lots across the entire United States, it would take them 120 days to sell every single one of these. And for an example, a fast-selling truck is the Toyota Tacoma, and that's about 45 days to sell all the Toyota Tacomas, and that's the fastest selling truck right now, with 114,338 currently sitting for sale on the dealer lots. And Ford has sold 42,806 of these F-150s in the past 45 days. And you might get a little sticker shock, but the average selling price of the F-150 right now is $59,535. You heard that right. The average selling price in America right now for an F-150 is right at $60,000, which we all know is completely insane. Ford is sitting on over 114,000 of these trucks across their dealer lots in the United States. And I think one of the reasons they have so many is, for one, Ford way overbuilt the number of F-150s that they thought they would need. They kind of overshot what they thought they would be selling. It's still the number one selling full-size pickup truck in America as far as number of units sold over the course of this year. And you might be surprised that Ford trucks take up half of the trucks on this list of 10 trucks. So as we go through this list, you'll see that there's 5 Ford trucks on this list out of 10. And I have to say one more reason I feel like a lot of these Ford trucks are sitting for a while is because Ford has had a record number of recalls in 2025, over 110 so far on various vehicles, and a lot of those recalls are on the F-150. And that brings us to number 9 on the list. But there's one thing I want to talk about before we get into number 9. And that's because as I drive around more and more, and maybe you notice this too, there's a lot of people driving very poorly, people road raging, not being courteous, and causing a lot of accidents. And so I want to show you something that I put on my personal vehicle that helps keep me safe and could keep you safe if anything happens. Now, I've had my Jeep for a couple of years now, and the one accessory that I've always wanted to put on it was a dash cam. But thanks to today's sponsor, Wolfbox, I've got that totally covered now. This is the Wolfbox G900 Pro 4K dash cam. The Wolfbox G900 Pro has a front 4K and rear 2.5K resolution camera, which means it can clearly capture license plates and scene details even in low light, backlight, and other challenging lighting conditions. 5.8 GHz Wi-Fi with app connectivity, allowing you to easily download driving footage to your phone at any time, voice control so you can easily enjoy hands-free operation, and this 12-inch touchscreen allows you to effortlessly switch between the front and rear cameras or split screen mode, ensuring a clear and comprehensive view of your surroundings. Now, while having the front dash cam is really awesome, I want to point out one of my favorite things about this Wolfbox G900 Pro, and that's the rear dash cam, because as you can see, I have a full-size 37-inch spare tire on here. I barely am able to see out of my rear view mirror, and most of the time when a car is behind me, I can't even see it. But with the G900 Pro, I can finally see everything. If you want to try the Wolfbox G900 Pro, I highly recommend it. Just click on the link in the description below and grab one for your vehicle today. They're also running a sale, so you better hurry up. Number 9 on this list is one of my all-time favorite trucks that you can buy right now, and that's going to be the Ram 1500. Now, there's a couple reasons why I think this is my favorite truck right now. One of them being that Ram brought back the Hemi V8, and those trucks are actually selling faster than the Hurricane twin turbo engine. And honestly, I think for the money, it's just a good looking truck inside and out. Especially this one here that's all gray with the blackout. Looks so good. The Ram 1500 has a 130 market day supply with 52,201 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. They've sold 18,037 of these Ram trucks in the last 45 days, with the average selling price being $30,467. That's half of the average selling price of the Ford F-150, and Ram was struggling all year long to sell the 1500s, and the reason why it's so cheap compared to the F-150 is that I saw some of these with $20,000 discounts on them just to get them off the lot, which is pretty crazy. Now, as far as a lower trim level price before a discount, you're looking at one of these Bighorn trim levels. With an MSRP of $65,625. And if you want to spend all of your money on a truck, probably get this Ram Rebel right here at a whopping $81,005. And they haven't even put the V8 back in the Rebel yet. Now, I just want to add a quick note about these Ram truck prices that I didn't show you on the lot while editing this video. A lot of that $30,000 average sale price is from 2025 models that are the Ram Tradesman, which has a starting MSRP of around $40,000, and the Ram Bighorn that has a starting MSRP of around $45,000. And then after discounts, that's where that average selling price comes in on the Ram. But for 2026, the prices have gone up, and the ones on the lot were a lot of the higher trim levels. Number 8 on this list is another Ford truck, and that is the Ford Ranger. And as you can see, this dealership is completely stacked with Ford Rangers. It goes as far as you can see down this row. And then if I squeeze through these Rangers here and squeeze through these little Broncos, there's another row of Rangers right here. The Ford Ranger has 135 market day supply, with 22,105 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. And in the past 45 days, Ford has sold 7,358 of the Ranger. And the average selling price of a Ford Ranger right now is $43,481. And just to show you the prices on these Rangers that kind of gets it to that middle ground, there's an XLT right here, which is about as low a trim level as you can get, that normally you'll find on dealer lots. Sometimes you'll find an XL. Most of the time you'll find XLTs. There's also an STX, which gets even cheaper, and that's honestly probably the cheapest one you're going to find on the lot. So let me show you a low trim level and a high trim level real quick to see how we get to that median selling price. So we got this STX right here in white. I live in Idaho, and most of the trucks you'll see on these dealer lots are going to be four-wheel drive. So for this 2025 Ranger, it's $39,280. But if you wanted to get a little bit fancy in a Ranger, that would be something like this Lariat trim level. That's where the Rangers get a little bit pricey. This Lariat is $50,975, about $10,000 more than an STX. Well, number 7 on this list is another Ford, and this is the baby Ford. It's like the smallest Ford pickup truck that you can buy, and that would be the Ford Maverick, and they are pretty much loaded with Mavericks. You got it as far as you can see on this side, and then we go around here and we got more lined up. I looked on their website and it showed that they had 33 of these in inventory, and it definitely looks like it. The Ford Maverick has 136 market day supply, with 37,269 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots, with an average selling price of $33,733. And they've sold 12,313 just in the past 45 days. So when Ford came out with the Maverick, they promised a $20,000 truck, and obviously when you go on the lots, it didn't get there. So let me show you how they get to that median price between the lowest trim level and the highest trim level that I can find on the lot here. The lowest is going to be something like this blue XL trim right here with Steelies, and honestly, this is the one that I would buy. I like the Steelies. Let me show you how much the low trim level is on the Ford Maverick. It's going to run you $33,600 for a 2026 XL all-wheel drive with the 2.5 liter hybrid engine. And as far as the most expensive, it's probably going to be this new Lobo edition. It's more of like a street truck style, a bit lowered, has some cool wheels and tires. The roof is blacked out, and it's got this crazy vertical front grille on it. And how much is the Lobo? You're looking at $43,220 for the Lobo with a 2-liter EcoBoost engine and an automatic transmission. Number 6 on this list is another Ram, and that's the gigantic Ram 3500 heavy duty. And these are some really big freaking trucks. I mean, look at that face. That's enough to take you out. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, and this truck goes almost to my shoulders right here. I mean, look at that. The Ram 3500 has a 144 market day supply, with 11,652 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. And in the past 45 days, they've sold 3,636 of the Ram 3500, with an average selling price of $48,755. And for perspective on these Ram trucks, they usually take 4 to 6 months to sell while sitting on the lot here. So most of the people are buying these with discounts, but for the sake of MSRP again, I want to show you a cheap one and an expensive one. And by cheap, I just mean less expensive. So for this white heavy duty 3500, it's got a lot of black plastic everything. This is the Tradesman Crew Cab, and the MSRP is $60,725. And then they do get quite pricey. This 3500 heavy duty with the Cummins turbo diesel is one of the more expensive ones that you'll find on the lot. And it's the Bighorn Crew Cab for $81,740. Now I do think if you're looking for a really big truck, the 3500 is probably a good bargain right now if you can negotiate 15 to 20,000 off that MSRP. Number 5 on this list is kind of a weird one, and it's also the only Jeep on this list. You might have forgotten about this truck, but yes, Jeep does have a truck, and that would be the Jeep Gladiator. The Jeep Gladiator has a 145 market day supply with 19,516 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. And 6,039 units have been sold of the Jeep Gladiator in just the last 45 days, with $34,416 being the average selling price. Now, when I show you the price of these Gladiators, you might get sticker shock because they're more expensive than you think, especially with the average selling price being around $34,000, $35,000. And I'll start here at a Rubicon and Mojave because these are the two most expensive trim levels that you can get. This fully loaded green Rubicon right here is $64,355. And this white Mojave behind me is $64,810. So how are we getting down to the mid-30s on the average selling price of these trucks? Well, that's because the highest selling trim level of a Jeep Gladiator is the Willys edition that you see right here, and also the Sport, the lower trim levels. So if we look at this blue Willys right here, you can see that it's $51,580. And the reason why the average selling price of this is so much lower is a lot of times Jeep dealers are having to give $10,000, $15,000, sometimes even $20,000 off of these just to get them sold. And you can see how many they have. They're all the way over here, all the way to the end right here. And they are stuck with some of these higher trim levels. They have more of the higher trim level Rubicon and Mojaves than they do of the Willys. And if you go look at a sport model, there's no new sport models here that I can see, but a sport model is gonna be right around the $40-something thousand range, probably 45. So if you take off 10 grand off of that sport model, that puts it right about $35,000. So number 4 on this list is actually one of my personal favorite trucks, and that's gonna be the newer Nissan Frontier. I just love this truck, and especially like it in this cool orange color or this really neat dark green. But it's nice to see it right in the middle and not on the top of the actual worst selling and slowest selling, if you know what I mean. And as you can see here, Nissan is also stacked with these. About a year ago, there was probably half the amount of trucks, and now this goes all the way down to the end on the left there, and it's full of Frontiers. The Nissan Frontier has a 145 market day supply with 21,605 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. 6,687 Nissan Frontiers have been sold just in the last 45 days, with an average selling price of $22,513. And you gotta remember when I talk about these average selling prices, a lot of these trucks on the list aren't selling at MSRP anymore. A lot of them have discounts anywhere from $2,000 all the way up to 10, 15, sometimes even 20, depending on how long the truck has been sitting on the lot. So as far as most expensive trim levels of the Frontier go, it's gonna be the Pro 4X, like this white one or this orange one here. And so this Pro 4X has an MSRP of $48,405. And it's pretty much fully loaded 4x4 automatic with the V6 four-wheel drive. And as far as the cheapest one goes, you're looking at one of these plain Jane basic ones with steel wheels. And honestly, I'm still a fan of Steelies. No matter what car it's on, I'm a fan of Steelies. So this is the cheapest one that you can find right now. And this is before discounts, remember that. This is a 2026 King Cab 4x4 automatic with the V6, and it's $38,040. So I'm using the carriage data, and I'm not sure how they get an average selling price of $22,000. I feel like that has to be an error with the prices where they're at, but maybe the discounts are crazy and they're selling for 22 grand. I'm gonna assume that's an error, and I'm just gonna say the selling price is probably $32,000, because at that $38,000 price, $6,000 off would get it to $32,000. And I don't think they're giving 15 grand off, but maybe they are. If so, if you can find one of these for 22 grand, obviously you better pick it up because that's insane. Number 3 on this list is, you guessed it, another Ford. And that would be the F-250 Super Duty. And as you can see, they have a massive amount. I mean, it goes all the way down there as far as the eye can see to the end of the row, and then back over all the way over here. And they've got more right over there. That is a lot of F-250 Super Duties. The Ford F-250 has a 145 market day supply with 46,275 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots, with 14,321 F-250s sold in the last 45-day period. And the average selling price of an F-250 Super Duty is obviously more than an F-150. That would be $71,249 for the average selling price. And I'm just curious what a Lariat costs compared to like a cheaper XLT. We've got this silver F-250 Lariat right here with the chrome everything, and it's really expensive. It's a 2026 with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke V8 diesel, and it's $90,145. And for comparison, there's an STX right here, which will be the lower trim level. And this one is all blacked out, which I think looks pretty cool. This has the 6.8 liter V8 gas engine, and it's way less at $63,080. So there you go, the high end and the low end on an F-250 Super Duty. We're almost near the end. We're at number 2, but we're not quite near the end yet. Next up is number 1, and the second slowest selling with the most inventory of all the trucks in the United States right now. That would be the F-350 Super Duty. And as you can see, they have a whole row all the way here, all the way across the front, and all the way down there. And they've got some 250s and 350s all mixed up in this row as well. The Super Duties are definitely stacking up here at Ford dealerships. The F-350 Super Duty has a 151-day market supply with 31,071 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. And Ford has sold 9,252 of the F-350 Super Duties in the last 45-day period, with the average selling price being $76,907, about $5,000 higher than an F-250 Super Duty. So I think we got a few F-350s here that could be a good comparison from the high end to the low end to see what kind of medium we can get to on the average selling price. Right here is one of the most expensive trim levels of the F-350 that you can get, and it's a King Ranch with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke turbo diesel. And as you can see in the interior, it's like this nice tan brown color. I really like it. Fancy. So the MSRP of this 2025 King Ranch Super Duty, are you ready for this? This Ford truck is $101,270. And that's for the King Ranch. $101,000 is pretty crazy. Let's see if we can find a lower trim level F-350. All right, we've got an STX trim level, which is one of the lower trim levels, just above like an XL and XLT. But I don't see an XL or an XLT on the F-350s. So this STX right here is a lot cheaper at $66,255. So I did manage to find an XL trim level of the F-250, and that's this white one right here. And remember that STX was $66. This XLT is $63,205. So that seems to be the lowest of the low on a Super Duty F-250. And now it's time I show you the number 1 slowest selling truck in the United States today. Now we finally made it to the number 1 slowest selling truck that has the longest days worth of inventory that you can find of any truck in the market right now. And that's going to be the Ram 2500 Heavy Duty. The Ram 2500 is the slowest selling truck in America right now, and trucks from Stellantis brands like Ram and Jeep take up 4 of the bottom 10 spots. And like I said with the Ram 3500, you can expect these to sit around for 4 to 6 months, so you're usually able to negotiate a pretty good discount on them. The Ram 2500 has a 184 market day supply with 39,136 currently for sale and sitting on dealer lots. 9,577 Ram 2500s have been sold in the last 45-day period, with an average selling price of $67,626. And I guarantee you when we look at these prices, this Ram turbo diesel is going to be pretty expensive, just like the 3500 turbo diesel was from Cummins. This is all blacked out as well. So this 2500 Cummins turbo diesel Ram is a whopping $95,220 on the MSRP for a 2026 year model Rebel. That's definitely not one of the ones that's selling. It's probably one that's going to sit here for about 6 months before it sells, and I guarantee you they're going to have to take $15,000 to $20,000 off that price for anyone in their right mind to buy it. But I'm curious to see how low they go, before a discount that gets it to that average $67,000 price. So let's check out this red one and this white one here and see if they're in the 60s or 70s. See, that's a turbo diesel right there. That's not going to be cheap. It's $77,000 for a Bighorn. So it pretty much looks like every one of these are the Cummins turbo diesels, and the cheapest I've seen so far is $77,000. So if you take 10 grand off the MSRP of this, that brings it down to that $67,000 average selling price. But that's something I didn't know. I didn't know most of the 2500 heavy duties were the Cummins turbo diesels, but clearly that's the case right here. So that's going to be it for today's video. That is the slowest selling trucks that you can buy in America right now. If you made it this far to the end, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.